Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for the crypto market recap. Let's hop into these charts, see what the story is and what it may be. And remember, if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay, well, take a look at the markets today. More selling and heavy selling. What a day, what a day. So, obviously we're going to go over the positions we're in. If you are in the Discord, you are a member, we are long, or at least we're, starting our long positions as we go into this hard selling. But I do want to touch on, not just our positions. We'll take a look at Luna, which we were in a position, but I ended up closing in a loss. I'll explain exactly my reasoning, what really happened, and what I expect. And I'll take a look at a few other coins as well. I'll try and keep this video as short as I can. It might be on the longer side because I do want to take a quick look at a few coins that we're not in a position with and see if there's any opportunities and what to really keep our eye on, right? And I do want to touch on this before I talk about Bitcoin. The CPI numbers came out today. All right, the consumer price index numbers. Pretty much, if you're not in the U.S., what that does, it measures the inflation in products for the U.S. So for what the everyday consumer will be facing when they go out shopping, whether it's for things or food, whatever, that's what that measures. And unfortunately, it came out this morning that the percentages were a bit over expectations, which means it did not show any signs that inflation was topping out or slowing down, only that it was steadily increasing. And that is not what anyone wants to see. It's going to make life even more difficult to keep your same standard of living because things will become more expensive, and that spooked the markets even more. And as we saw, it really kind of put a hamper on any potential for a significant bounce of any sort in the equity market. And as we came into the close today for the equity markets, the NASDAQ rolled over hard, really rolled over hard. And we're seeing the rise of value stocks, so like Procter & Gamble, J&J, not in their price, but in their share ownership, in the sense that people are chasing high dividend stocks, and we're seeing the destruction of growth stocks like Netflix or Peloton and such. Okay, I'm in the camp that I think we're due for a bounce in all markets. Again, when I say bounce, I don't mean we hit the bottom and we're going to we're starting the next bullish cycle. I mean a relief bounce, a somewhat significant bounce, in that the selling's been so dramatic that we can see a 5, 10, 15% bounce. But keep in mind we've dropped 50% in a lot of assets, and in crypto, Luna, for example, we've dropped hundreds of percent technically. So a move like that in the grand scheme of things is really small. But as a swing trade, that would be absolutely fabulous, and I do see that happening. But let's focus on Bitcoin, and I'll explain exactly what I'm seeing, and we'll go over our position and what may be coming next. So let's see. So Bitcoin here, as we can see, it's coming hard. Okay, yeah. On the 9th, so on the 9th we had that massive daily candle, about 12% candle almost, came right into 30,000, which I've said is going to be a very high interest level. A lot of people are going to want to buy it. A lot of people did buy it. Okay, it was being defended pretty well, and we had that snapback effect. Unfortunately, not to the degree I was looking for. Okay, so I bought into this level because when you have massive amount of selling, okay, you have all this volatility going to one direction, right? So you have all this volatility going in one direction for a significant amount of time, and on the daily time frame, you have what, 4, 5, 6 days going in one direction. It's more probable as you go into a major support or resistance, a major level, for that volatility to slow down and have a snapback effect. Okay, doesn't mean it won't continue in that direction, but it's very likely, very probable that you will have a snapback effect. Okay, that's just the ebbs and flows of the markets. That's what I love to play, and when it works, it works. When it doesn't, it doesn't. Okay, but it doesn't mean that it's gonna fail. It just means, okay, you gotta look for the next level. And that's why way I trade, what do I always emphasize in the trades? Our position sizing. That's our risk management, our position sizing. Every time I open a trade, I'm under the assumption it's going to go lower, it's going to go higher, and I'm going to add on to it. All right? So I want you, again, I'm like a broken clock. I know I'm always emphasizing the same thing, but it's so important. These days have emphasized the importance of it. Control your risk. You could have the best strategy in the world that works 95% of the time. If you don't have risk management, you will not succeed in the long run. You will not succeed in the long run, no matter what it is. Control your risk and you will be fine. All right? So, win to 30K. We had a bit of a snapback, but again, not as high as I was liking it to be. I thought it'd be a little bit more significant considering how much we've been selling for the past, not just couple days, but overall, couple weeks. We had a nice daily candle on the 10th, went all the way up from 30,000, essentially all the way back towards here at 32,600, and that was about a 9% candle, right? And I was thinking, okay, this is exactly what I was seeing. I was seeing anywhere from an 8 to 16% snapback higher. So I was looking for a breach of 33K, going back towards 33,500, maybe even 34,000. That was my general target zone to close the long. Okay, so I was seeing a bit of a follow through and maybe back down to this descending blue, back up to this descending blue line. Unfortunately, as the day went on the 10th, we could not get the follow through. Closed under, okay? Still wasn't a poor close, okay? Wasn't a poor close. What this told me, though, what this candle told me was, all right, I should lower my expectations that we may be seeing, instead of a snapback hard up, that we're going to see a bearish consolidation, okay? That we're going to see a bearish consolidation of some sort, possibly forming. Could be a flag, could be a wedge, whatever. Was going to start forming, and that we would go higher, but it would be a drag higher, okay? It'd be a grind higher, and I would probably look to close the long as close to 33,000 as possible. All right. So that was one of the reasons why I did some add-ons below 30,000 and got our average decently lower. So that was kind of my thinking. All right. Unfortunately, as we see, that's not happening. So we had a decent day early until the CPI numbers started coming out, and it just started putting pressure on all the markets, including crypto. And now we're now in the general zone of a major support zone. Okay, this zone may break. All right, this zone may break. The selling is heavy, but as I've been saying, 30,000 and 29,000 or 28,900, this general area will have a lot of demand. Okay, it can hold here, it may not hold here, and if it doesn't, we have our plan already. We will be looking towards the 25,000, 24,000 general area. Okay, and I'm going to tell you why. If it does break under here and comes to 24,000, 25,000 within this week, pretty much before the weekend, I think we're talking high percentile, highly likely we're going to have a bounce. Okay, I don't think we're going to bounce back to 34K, but I do think we can bounce back to 30K easily. All right, if that should happen, if for whatever reason we break under this level and then we slow down and start painting a bearish pattern as we're coming back towards 29,000, I don't like that. Okay, then what's telling me is we're likely going to have a move lower to 25,000, 24,000, and we won't pierce it immediately, but we'll likely just go sideways on it. Doesn't mean we won't come back up, but what that does mean is we could spend a significant amount of time there, and as a swing trader, that's not what you want to see. The way I trade, the way I enjoy swing trading, it's counter trend, okay? But those trades tend to be fast, okay? They tend to be fairly fast. Sometimes they're long, but on average they tend to be fast, lasting from 1 day to about a week, all right? And that's what I like to see. These trades where you buy into the exhaustion, okay, and then they snap back hard, tend to work out really well, really quickly, okay? And it gets you in and out of the market with a really nice profit. But if there are cases where if it starts coming into a major support slowing down, then it's a little worrisome in that, okay, we may have a longer period of time at these levels. All right. Again, we're just mapping out what may be. We don't know what is yet. It hasn't happened yet. We're just mapping out what may be. But in the end, the most important thing you need to take from this all, and I know I'm a broken clock. I've said this over and over and over. It's the risk management portion of my trading. It's not the levels. It's not, being able to count candles correctly and see the exhaustion and the volatility in the candles alone. It's none of that. It's the risk management strategy. Being able to parse out your positions correctly, to correctly DCA into positions with minimum risk, as you're doing it, will keep you in the game. It will keep you in the game, and no matter your strategy, this sort of risk management style works. And no matter how good your strategy may be, I don't care if you have a 90% or 95% winning percentage, if you don't have good risk management, it will fail in the long run. Your account will blow up in the long run. That's it. It's the variance. It will get you. And the only way I know how to do it, personally, I'm not saying it's the only way. It's the only way I know how to do it, and I've done it for a long time, is just parsing out your position sizing, controlling your position sizing. That's the only way I know how to do this right and consistently. Okay, and we're gonna go over one of my losers that I had. The first loser in our crypto trading career since we opened up this Discord, which was Luna, and we're definitely gonna go over that one because that was a very interesting case. And again, another great example of why controlling your position sizing is everything. Okay, but for Bitcoin, again, we're in a major support level. I'm gonna watch. I'm under the assumption, like every time I open a trade, it will go lower if I'm long in a position, or if I'm shorting, it's going to go higher than my position. I'm always assuming I'm going to be adding on to this level because I'm under the assumption that I will never get the optimal position. All right, and I'm okay with that. I'm so okay with that because the way I trade is not just about making money. I'm at peace. I'm at peace, and all I see is opportunity in these sort of environments. Okay, and I don't have to spend all day in front of the chart. That's another big deal too. All right, so we'll keep our eye on Bitcoin, but if you're in the long with me, please make sure you have your risk under control. I'm assuming you do. You don't have to follow me one to one, but I'm assuming you understand. Keep your risk under control, and be ready. We will have add-ons as we move lower, should we move lower, and that if we do hit the 24, 25Ks within a couple of days, again, it has to be within, I would say, 3 days max. We're talking towards 75, 77% percentage probability that we will have a snapback hard. Okay, and it has to be hard. Okay, it can't be, when I say 2-3 days, we get towards 24, 25K, it has to be within that time period, and it has to be hard selling. Okay, if it's slow selling, then no, the probabilities of us having a hard snapback aren't high. Of us slowing down there is still high, but having that hard snapback up is not likely unless it's really aggressive selling. Okay, it has to be really, really aggressive, kind of like here. Okay, kind of like here. Unfortunately, it didn't play out completely here for a multitude of reasons. And again, Luna's a big reason of that. The structure is also a big reason of that, and of course the CPI numbers. And before I hop off of Bitcoin, the structure. What have we been saying for the past couple months? Bearish structure, of course, very likely to come lower. And this whole structure is made to do what? To break under 30K. That's what this structure is about. And the one-to-one move of this bearish flag, right? So if you want to get the idea of where this flag will go, if it fully plays out, it's already been placed there for us. Take a look, breakout here, brings you right to 24,000, 25,000, okay? So the full move of this bear flag, should it fully play out, it would be at 24,000, 25,000, and then from there, we will look to the market to see, is it going to paint a bull pattern at that level? Is it going to paint a bear flag, bearish pattern at that level to bring us lower, back towards 20,000? Or are we just going to go into a range and we're going to sit there for a while? And that's my fear. It's more of a range will happen, okay? A range will happen, and it'll take some time for the market to decide what to do. Okay, but again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, and at least now we have an idea of what to expect in every scenario that we can fathom at this point. All right, and let's take a quick look at Avalanche. Hard seller here, hard seller in Avalanche as well. And I have a few add-on levels I'm thinking about here. I'm going to be a little coy on Avalanche. I want to give Avalanche some time. Avalanche, I've been under the assumption that it's likely going to coil around this descending trend line. Okay, so the way these descending trend lines work, they're not great to use as support per se. When you're above them, they're great to see the general idea of where demand's going to be. So what I mean by that is you're going to likely seek, and it's all probabilities, it's not set in stone, that price like it is now will pierce under it, then pierce over it, then pierce under it, like this. Okay, and that's how I like using these sort of lines. It's less about these are the perfect target places. They're giving you an idea of possibly where the demand will go, and clearly it's veering to the downside. Obviously, we'll see. We could have just another hard day of selling, because if Bitcoin is going to, so will Avalanche. Remember, they act like indexes. All right, they're all acting like indexes, and Bitcoin is the major index of this whole market. So, if it's going to do something like this, then we could be seeing the preparedness for a possible move higher, back towards at the low $40, and maybe if it's a really significant relief rally towards $50 again. We have to give this time, but I'm not too worried about Avalanche. Again, very little exposure. We've had some add-ons here and there, so if you're in the group, you know that. But again, I'm keeping my eye on it, and I'm not on this chart, but there's other charts that have more data on it. I do have some levels that I am eyeing to possibly add on to. Okay, and let's see here. Oh, and Ethereum. So Ethereum is one of the free trades I gave to the group as well. And again, following Bitcoin as expected. But Ethereum, we have some key levels that we're definitely looking at. As I've said, this structure, similar to Bitcoin, was made to try and break under 2,000, and it's definitely on its path to do that. And I think it's very likely. Okay, I think it's very likely. Whether it's going to be now, later, whatever, I think it's very likely. Ethereum will be sub 2,000 at some point, but you will see a lot of demand around 2,000 and 1,800, in my opinion. And take a look at this. Let's extend this out. And boom. So you would think, this trend line won't play a role, but it most definitely will. Okay, most definitely will. It's giving you a general idea of confluence here. So again, what do I love to see? I love seeing confluence when you have major support matching with a roaming, support line or resistance line. Okay, when you have something like that, it's just a great place of just interest. It's just interest. So we're going to keep that there. We're going to keep that extended out, and we'll see how price interacts with it, as it's very close. Very close. So I do think price is going to get towards 2,000 or this level around 1,800, and then possibly have a bounce up higher. Again, dependent on Bitcoin, and we'll have the key add-on levels here as well. So if you're in this trade with me, whether you're a member or you're not, again, make sure you're controlling your risk and be ready for any alerts I give out to add on to this level. All right. And let's see here. Next is Solana. Solana's having a really tough day. Yeah, so Solana's coming into like this level at $38. Very interesting level. If this comes in like this, like let's say today closes at $38, I'm definitely gonna be adding on. How much I'll add on? I'll be tempted. I will be tempted to do a much larger percentage. I have to be, again, I'm being wary. I do want to keep my eye on what's going on with Luna, because what came out from that, I'll go over it in more detail once I'm covering the chart of Luna, but I do understand that UST, it was found that it wasn't just backed with Bitcoin, it was backed with other altcoins. So we're seeing they have to liquefy a lot of their assets, and unfortunately it wasn't just Bitcoin. They had a ton of altcoins as well, and Solana, I believe, was one of them. So this is also another reason why you're seeing, everything's selling off hard, but you're seeing a really pronounced sell on Solana, about 30% today. So if they have a lot in holdings, it may go a lot lower. So I do have to be wary of that, and trust me, I am keeping my eye on it. But just looking at the chart in a vacuum, this is not a bad place to buy. I mean, if you're gonna buy, and it comes in like this in one day, maybe 2 days, oh man, that is very interesting, very, very interesting. And if you haven't noticed from the tone of my voice, I'm nothing but excited about what we're seeing, because I do think, as Bitcoin goes into the mid 20s, low 20s, we're talking about long-term accumulation for a lot of these assets. So if you believe in some of these projects, again, be very wary what you choose. Avoid anything that's offering you high APYs. I think that's just nonsense. Look for projects that are being adopted by, in my opinion, financial institutions. So look for things that are being adopted by the man, as you would say. They have the most likelihood to succeed in the long run. Okay, that's just my opinion, not financial advice. So if you're looking at those sort of assets, to invest in long term, this sort of market is just, it's godsend. Okay, it's a life changing moment. All right, I've been through this many times, and I'm telling you that it's okay to be afraid, but don't let the fear cripple you. This is your moment. Okay, this is your moment. If you're finding something that you believe in truly, and it's real business, not something that's offering you 20% APY for nothing, then this is it. Like, this is it. Okay, so Solana, very interesting. Again, I got a couple places where I'm interested in adding on to this, but $38 is a massive support. If it comes in hard within today or tomorrow, you betcha I'm probably going to be adding on to it. I just really, it's how much do I want to add on? That's what I'm thinking. And Polkadot's next. So Polkadot, again, Polkadot's actually playing out kind of how I expected it to. I will say the only thing that took me off guard was how fast it broke this level, so this thick black line. I believe that this was going to hold until Bitcoin was at these levels. I actually thought Polkadot had enough institutional demand to hold this level, and until Bitcoin started breaking under 30,000. Again, I was wrong there, but the general idea of what was happening, the general structure was very clear. It's going to be bearish. Once it started losing this level, once it came back to this level, it was going to be bearish. And now we're seeing it. We're seeing it. And Polkadot's interesting. I actually think Polkadot is a fairly interesting project, and I do like it as we're getting closer towards $5. I have levels again. This chart doesn't have the most information. I have other charts that have more information in regards to the price history. I have levels that we're approaching very soon that I'm going to be looking to possibly add on to the long here. But as an investment, I find this being an interesting project. But we're going to come lower on Polkadot. We have some room before major levels. I would say a little under $8. So anything under $8, I'm going to be interested in adding on to the position. But $7.50, essentially, I'm kind of rounding, is going to be a key level to watch. But yeah, we're approaching some interesting levels with Polkadot. But I am expecting lower on this as well. But the faster we fall down to $7, $8, $7 and maybe sub $7, the more confident I'm going to be that we're going to get generally a pretty significant bounce back to $10. Okay. And that's about all the positions we're in. Okay, that's all the positions we're in. Very interesting what's going on in the market so far. Look at this, Bitcoin's it's coming down even harder. Look at it, it's breaking under. Woo. Okay, so if we can come into 24,000, 25,000 today or tomorrow, my goodness. I mean, the opportunity abounds. But we're definitely in a deleveraging moment. All right, and you know what? This is a good time. Let's go into Luna because it's going to explain a couple things that's going on. So Luna, clearly, as you can see, kind of dying. Not surprising. I will say it's surprising how fast it's happened, but it's not surprising. I don't remember which video it was. I can't recall, but I did remember mentioning maybe 2 weeks or so. Might be longer, might be shorter time frame than I said that. But I do remember mentioning that Luna was a dangerous project. I found it to be kind of crazy that they were backing their DAO, their stable coin with Bitcoin, and then pegging it to the following the dollar. I didn't understand that, and I was afraid of that. I thought that was kind of scammy and kind of nonsense, right? And I think this is kind of proving my point. Of course, I'm not taking credit saying that I knew this was going to happen. I didn't. I just thought it doesn't make any sense to peg to the dollar, but follow the dollar 1-to-1, but peg to Bitcoin. That doesn't make any sense. And I thought the Luna Foundation, Terra Labs, whatever, would be in serious trouble if Bitcoin started going lower, because what was I charting for the past 2 months? That Bitcoin was going to go under 30,000. So I was confused as what they were going to do, right? And as we can see, this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing, and they're essentially screwed in the sense that they've lost all trust. They've lost all their value essentially, and again, I don't know where they're going to go from here. And their stable coin, which we'll take a quick look at too in a second, is virtually dead as of now. Even if they do get the peg back somehow, I don't see how anyone reasonable is going to put their money into it. So yeah, they're in a tough spot, and they made some poor decisions, I think, with just even trying to back their stablecoin with Bitcoin. I'd never even understood that. But going on to me, my loss, right? So I started getting into Luna, essentially one because again, it was coming in hard into pretty decent, pretty strong support. So I think $30 was one of the levels I bought at. I ended up having an average of around $28 and change. Okay, and at the time, my average was higher than that. My last video, when I was going over Luna, I wasn't sure if I was going to add on as we were coming, lower. I decided to, one, because our exposure to Luna was so small that even if it went to zero, so if I woke up the next day and Luna went to $0, I would have lost just what at the time, what, about 4 or 5% of the account. You don't want that to happen, but I could totally live with that. It was not a big deal. And considering, you can go back in our trade history, you can see, considering our success, that was nothing compared to the profits we've made overall since the beginning of the year, really. So it was well worth the risk to me. But I ended up adding on, and then I decided, okay, since it's going to be late in the night, I'll be hopefully asleep at the time. Well, I'll just put a stop loss at $8. So in case it does start blowing through the $10 level and getting towards $8, I'll have a stop there, and I'll lose about 70%, 72% of an 8% position, which is about like almost 6%. So not a big deal. I'm not too worried about it. It's happened, and I've always warned. Our winning streak was gonna come to an end. We had about, I want to say, almost 40 trades without a loss. That is not the normalcy for me. All right, in a year I have on average about an 80% to 84% record. Like, that's my average. So out of 1,000 trades, I'll usually win around 800 to 840 trades. Okay, having 40 wins in a row is an outlier. I do want to say that. So, I'm sorry if you followed me in this trade. We've lost together, but I do want you to understand something. Like, it's bound to happen, and the only reason why I'm okay with what happened is because I only lost under 6% of my account, and that's why I want to emphasize. You understand the power of position sizing and risk management. I only lost 6% of my account. That's nothing. That is absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. There are people out there that unfortunately lost all of their account. They lost, and much more, and much more, and much more. So it's one of those things where, of course, I would have liked for this to go the other way, but it didn't, and I'm always under the assumption it won't, and because of that, I'm barely affected by it. I'm not emotionally destroyed by it. I'm not financially destroyed by it, and I have more opportunity to look at something else, right? So that's what this is all about. It's not about making money in the market. If you have your process under control to survive the market, you will make money in the market. Focus on the process, and the end result will take care of itself. So that's what I want you to take from this video. Focus on the process you have, whether it's the process I do, whether it's something else. If it works, you're consistent, and it's safe, focus on that like a mad person, and the end result will take care of itself. So, again, Luna, who the hell knows where this is going to go? It went to 50 cents at some point, or 60 cents, whatever. Who knows where this is going to end up? This could end up back at $40. Okay, don't know, and that would be a nothing move, by the way. It would be a great move, obviously, if you went long, but in the scheme of things, this went all the way back to $40. That's just like a 50, maybe a 40% retracement from the drop. That's nothing. That means it's likely going to continue lower. So you keep it in perspective. This is at this point, a dying asset. All right, and from what I can tell, again, let's pull up the UST. I don't think they're going to succeed in pegging this to the dollar again. Okay, they're going to try. I would assume that Terra Labs or whoever is going to try and get this back to a dollar. But I don't see how they do it in any time period today, tomorrow, this week. And even if they do, I don't see any demand for it now. Right? I mean, would you put your money in this? It's nonsense. So again, and also going back to, we also found out recently that they had other altcoins that they were backing, not just Bitcoin. So they were buying other altcoins to back the value of UST to the dollar, which again doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because everything follows the index, which that's Bitcoin. Okay, so if Bitcoin's going to do something, most of everything else in crypto is going to follow it immediately, and everything that's not following it will follow it eventually, right? So why would you add altcoins to that balance sheet when not only is it going to follow Bitcoin, it's going to follow Bitcoin levered, because every altcoin is naturally levered higher against Bitcoin. That's why the percentages, for a move in Bitcoin that might be like a 6% move ends up being like a 10% move in Ethereum. So it makes no sense, absolutely no sense, and it's sad that this happened. It's not funny, but all you could do is put your hands up and say what were they thinking? Because this is not a hindsight thing, right? That's not a hindsight thing. That's a common sense thing. That's a common sense thing. You wouldn't go 50x on Luna. like no one who's in the right mind would be trading Luna at 50x on the daily time frame, right? It doesn't make any sense, because you have to take into account the larger swings. It's the same thing with these smaller coins to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, you can take into account the swings, which are going to be larger compared to like the S&P, but they're going to be much smaller compared to Avalanche or Ethereum. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, and it's sad to see. So, Luna, again, everything that's happening in the market, it's not all their fault, but they're a big part of it. Again, the structure was very clear at Bitcoin. Okay, it wasn't just like, oh, we would have gone up if Luna didn't do this. No, we were likely going down. The probabilities were very clear that this structure was playing out, and we were likely to go lower. All right, so Luna, again, it's a loss. Going to take it on the chin and keep moving forward, and hopefully the trades we're in now, the trades in the future, just eclipse it very, very, very significantly. Okay, let's take a quick look at XRP that's breaking under 40 cents as I'm making this video. So got to 50 cents again, like Bitcoin, attempting to hold a level like 30,000, was holding 50 cents, and then as the CPI numbers came out, as the Luna stuff started becoming more clear as to what was going on behind the scenes, we're getting more selling. But again, this was likely to happen. I didn't think would happen this quickly. That's the thing. The speed of it is incredible. So now we're sub 40, going into 38 cents. And again, if you are a believer in some of these projects, is this a bad thing? Might be if you've been in it for a long time, but if you really believe, I would see this as more of an opportunity. So we could be coming back down to 24 cents, 24 and a half cents. And that's possible. I mean, again, it's within this very large accumulation zone, and if this selling continues, that's where I do see us going. I will be very interested to possibly enter positions at that level. Not for the Discord, just for me personally. Again, this is not financial advice. This is just what I'm thinking about doing for myself. XRP, I don't really look to trade it. It's more of an accumulation sort of asset for me. As I've made a decent chunk of change off XRP, and anything I buy with it is mainly with profit I've made from it from a long time ago. So I'm not in the same, I don't have the same amount of risk that others may have. So I'm just doing full transparency. Okay, so I'm looking at it a little bit differently. So 24 cents, 24 and a half cents is a possibility. I can see it happening. But again, I think even though it's piercing under 40 cents, under 39 cents, it's still high demand. I would not be surprised if it holds this level for the rest of the day, and maybe going into tomorrow it may sell off more if the markets open up even lower. Okay, and if 24 cents is lost, which that would be a big deal, we will likely see like the 14, 17, 14, 11 cents. Okay, again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I don't know, but it can happen. All right, and I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't sugarcoat things. I'll tell you exactly what I'm seeing in the charts. That would be those next levels I'd be looking at. Okay, and if that happens, it's very likely. Like I said, XP is a canary in the coal mine. If it's losing these levels, we are in one of the largest deleveraging moments we've had in crypto and in the overall market in a long time, maybe ever. Considering this is the most debt we've had swirling around in human history. So this can get to a level of unprecedented, like no matter how much history you have in the markets, you've never seen what you're seeing. Right now, this looks more like the dot-com bubble. Personally, I wasn't trading the dot-com bubble, but I was around many who were, and this what I'm seeing in crypto looks very similar to the dot-com bubble. Okay, so this could be the beginning of the death nail for the majority of these cryptos. Again, it should take a while. It should take some time, but this could be the beginning of it. Let's take a quick look at Tron, because Tron, guess what? Tron is also attempting to do the same thing that Luna did. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why I mentioned it. And isn't it funny how Tron comes out days before, comes out saying they're gonna back their DAO with cryptos, Bitcoin, and altcoins days before Luna's fails. It's like, I guess it was a coincidence. I don't know. I'm not picture a tinfoil cap on, and you let me know. But I just find that to be interesting, and it's one of the reasons why I mentioned it. And you also see a lot of the parties that are getting involved in this, stable coin that Tron's developing, or at least released, pretty big players in crypto and in the equity market. So yeah, watch out for Tron. Compared to the rest of the market, it's selling, though significant, is really been quelled. I mean, that's another sign that maybe something else is going on here. Okay, this is, compared to everyone else, a 7-8% drop is nothing. All right, it's like this is somewhat interesting. That's going on with Tron here. But yeah, if Tron plays out this triangle to the upside, we're talking go very, very high. Go very, very high. If it goes down to the low side, well, then it's going to go down towards 2 cents, maybe even lower. All right. Let's see. Doge. We'll take a quick look at Doge. I like looking at Doge. So yeah, look, Doge. I mean, I remember saying, take your money, right? Take your money. Two great examples here of take your money when you make your money, and you would have avoided the pain that happened on those days, and then the pain that you're experiencing now. Let me pull this down further, because somehow, even though this trend line is steep, it might actually play a role. That's how fast price is dropping. All right, so yeah, continuation lower. Not surprising with Doge, because again, it's one of those coins where fun to trade, doesn't really have much fundamentals behind it. So that usually will mean that it's always going to have a small percentage in regards to the index, the overall index. So it'll move really hard, right? It's not going to have a ton of holders at any given time. So it'll move really, really hard compared to like a Bitcoin. So, we're seeing low levels. And right now, if I can go on, a chart with more history, but I do know for sure that at 6 cents, there's a lot of support, a lot of demand in that area, 6 to 5 cents. So once it gets to those levels, I would not be surprised if we have a bit of a slowdown. If it comes right into it today, then I'm more confident you'll have a slowdown, maybe a little bit of a snapback higher, and then we'll wait and see if it starts painting a pattern of some sort to give us a general idea of what the probabilities will lean us towards. But yeah, so it's like it's getting close to high demand, high interest levels, and then if it breaks into that, then you're probably going to want to start looking towards this descending trend line. To start playing a role, right? To start playing a role. So yeah, we're getting into some real low levels with these projects, and some of them are well deserved. Some of them are really overvalued, really overvalued. Let's take a look at Cardano. There's a few coins I'm going to be looking at for the members, so I'm not going to go over those. And that video will probably be coming out at the end of this week. Okay. Yeah, so Cardano coming into this level here, 45 cents. That's so doable. 45 cents to 40 cents. I can see that happening now. Again, the harder these things come into these really significant support levels, the more likely you're going to see a price interaction and to the other direction. Okay, not permanently, but at the time, and it could be significant when you have really strong drops like this, 20, 30, 40, 50% over a couple of days or a day. You can have a big snapback that's like 20%, right, in the span of like a couple minutes. So it could get really crazy, really lucrative if you play your cards right. And let's see, I'm gonna look at one more and then I'm call it a day. I gotta look at ApeCoin. Boy, oh boy, ApeCoin. I mean, I'm not laughing at the people who lost money. I'm just laughing at the ridiculousness. So again, if you were in ApeCoin, I am sorry. I mean, it's ridiculous how this stuff has been playing out. And I have been calling the ApeCoin here, like in late April 27th to 28th. a lot of tomfoolery, a lot of messing around here that push price higher. And then, of course, it caught a lot of the quant guys that chase volatility to the upside. So, what I mean by that is really guys who have coded algos, right? So those algos are, auto trading for them, not the guys that are trading themselves. That's different. That are using these tools. The guys who are trading themselves using these tools have their own discernment. They can see, and they may make a different decision. Okay, some of them might not have. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if it's a bot, then it's just buying and selling based off of the strategy, which is totally fine. But the problem is with quants that are chasing just volatility to one direction, pretty much chasing trends. When the fake outs happen like this, they usually get wrecked pretty hard. Okay, and the bots that are in these markets right now that aren't institutional are pretty bad. Like they're not good enough to really do well in protecting capital. So you gotta be really careful if you're using something like that. And that trapped a lot of this all up here, and now it's been no mercy, just been coming down hard. Showed some interaction at the levels I was looking at, 15 and change, 13 and change, but really couldn't find any oomph to go higher towards like $18 and $20. Just there was nothing there, and then broke through. Quickly broke through, and now we're going into, again, APE, you gotta let it make a floor, right? I said if it starts losing $10, it's gonna go to $5, and if it finds it a floor there, that's great. But at this point, you don't know. You just have to let it find a floor. If there is a floor, it could be $0, could be $1, could be here. You just have to let it do its thing. But yeah, as of right now, there's nothing here. It's just a trend down. All right, so I think that's all I'm going to go over today. Yeah, crazy day. We'll see how we close out, and we'll see how the rest of this week goes. So, please, if you take anything from this video, I'm going to say it one more time. Anything from this video, please, if you have issues with risk, okay? If you have issues with risk, you're afraid when you trade or you invest or whatever, you blow up your account, whatever, take into account my risk strategy. I'm parsing out your trades, DCAing into trades. You could do that with investing as well. I always suggest that investing as well. And if you are in the Discord, even if you're not a member, DM me. Ask me a question if you have one, if you need advice or something. Okay? I've been in the markets long enough where I could say I have some answers. I don't have all the answers, but I do have some answers that might be helpful for you. Okay? And again, whether you're a member or not, if you're a free member in the Discord, feel free to DM me. Okay? Or if you want to ask me something publicly, feel free to message me. I'm here for you. Okay? And if you are a paying member and you're unsure, you're following my trades, whatever, let me know. I will have an answer for you, whether it's an actual answer or I will let you know I don't know. All right? But you will always have an answer from me. Okay? You will always have some sort of communication from me. All right, everyone. So remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. Love you guys. Take care.